So welcome to part 3. So this is part 3. Now at the time of filming this, I haven't decided whether to make part 3 bigger or not. So this is nearly 2 repeats. I don't think I've finished the final repeat completely. No, I haven't. I've got 4 rows left of the final repeat, so I've got another pink section. So in this section, you're going to change yarns every 4 rows. So if you're using 2 different colors or 3 different colors. So I started with the purple, then 4 rows of purple, 4 of pink, 4 purple, 2, 4, 6, hang on, 4, 8, 12, 16. So that's the first repeat. So 4 purple, 4 pink, 4 purple, 4 pink, and then I've done 12 rows of the second repeat. So I'm going to do 4 more rows of the second repeat, and then I'm going to decide whether to do another 16 rows or move on to the next part. I haven't quite decided yet. One thing I want to point out, in the original chart key for part 1, I don't know if I can find it, for part 1 it said, oh hang on, now I think I changed this after, sorry, in the original I think I changed this and then printed it out again, but I think in the original chart key for part 1 it may have said that symbol, as you can see that, the knit one through the back loop, it should be knit one through the back loop on both right and wrong side rows. It may have said that you should do it purl through the back loop on wrong side rows. That seemed to be, that's what I seem to remember, but I can't remember off the top of my head now, but I got a feeling I noticed that on Friday. So if you have done the purl one through the back loop on wrong side rows, it doesn't matter. So if you notice that there's a discrepancy, it really doesn't matter at all. Just I wouldn't go back in and pick everything, but it should be a knit one through the back loop. So let me show you how to do this section. Okay, so I'm starting on this side and I'm going to do the pink color. Let me just, it's got tangled up in my bag a little bit off camera here. So I've actually blocked this as well. So I just blocked it this morning dry on the needle, sorry. So I just stretched it out, sprayed it with water, left it for a couple of hours to dry, and so it looks a little bit more open than it will be when you first knit it. Okay, so I'm going to start by, normally you would slip the first stitch, but because we're changing color, we have to knit the first stitch. So I'm going to knit the first and the second stitch, and then we're going to do yarn over, slip on, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over. So if I show you on the chart, now on the chart I forgot to include something, so I got some things in pink on the chart. That's the knit one through the back loop that I forgot to type in on the chart, so I need to add those before I publish this pattern. But if you look on the chart, it starts with the slip one. I'm actually going to change that as well to a knit one, just so that when you change color you can't actually slip the first stitch. So it should be knit 2, yarn over, slip on 2 through the back, sorry, start again, knit 2, yarn over, slip on, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, yarn over, and then you go back and you repeat that. So the stitches in the red box are your pattern repeat, and you're going to repeat that right up until you get to your marker. So still leave your marker in place to kind of section off the edging. So we've done yarn over, knit, slip on, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, yarn over. So we can do another yarn over, so you end up with 2 yarn overs next to each other, so you're doing a double yarn over, slip on, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, double yarn over, slip on, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, double yarn over. And just in case you haven't done a slip on, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, or SK2PO as it is abbreviated, I'm going to slip on knitwise, knit the next 2 stitches together just like normal, and then you're going to pass the slip stitch over. Now you've got to make sure you take the slip stitch over and not the yarn over. If you're knitting in 2 different colors, then the slip stitch will be in a different color from your yarn over, so it should be fairly easy to see. But if you're knitting in the same color, you've got to be careful, make sure you take the slip stitch and lift it over. It's very easy to accidentally take the yarn over. So you can take the slip stitch and lift it over and drop it down. So it basically goes from 3 stitches into 1 stitch through a kind of central decrease. So double yarn over, slip on, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over. Double yarn over, slip on, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over. Okay, so I'm going to carry on till I get to the marker. The edging, you're doing the same as before. So if you look on the chart, you can see the edging is just the way we've always done it. So I'll see you on row 2. So I've got 3 stitches before the marker. So I've done my previous 3 stitches, my previous repeats. So I finished on a yarn over. I'm going to do another yarn over, slip on, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, and then 1 yarn over. And make sure before the marker you just finish with 1 yarn over, because you've gotten used to doing double yarn overs all the way along. You just got to make sure when you get to the marker you just finish with 1 yarn over and don't do a double yarn over. Slip the marker across, and then I'm going to do, I'm on row 13, I think. So row 13 is 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2 3 4 5, hang on, 4, there we go. Stop on through the back loop, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 1. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to turn, and I'm just going to find my row counter and click that one as well, so I know which row I'm on. Okay, so row 14. So the first bit of row 14 is just as it has been. We slip the first one, then we knit to the marker. Okay, so then when you get to the pattern repeat again, it actually says, to knit the first yarn over through the back loop. You don't need to do that on the very first pattern repeat. It's more for when we get to the second pattern repeat. Because you've only got 1 single yarn over here, you can just knit that as normal. Although if you do knit it through the back loop, if you find that confusing and you just want to do what the pattern says, that's absolutely fine, doesn't matter at all, but you don't have to do that one through the back loop. And then knit 1 and then knit 1. So now we're on the second pattern repeat. So we've got this double yarn over, so I've knitted the first yarn over, and then I've got to do the second one through the back loop, just like we've done all the way along. Knit 1, knit 1 through the front, 1 through the back for the second yarn over. Knit 1. So you're used to doing double yarn overs now, so hopefully this shouldn't be a problem. First yarn over through the front, second yarn over through the back. And remember, if you accidentally pull it off your needles, or if you get to it and you realize you've just done 1 yarn over by accident, just lift another loop over. And if you pull it off when you knit the first loop, just put it back on and knit the second loop through the back loop. Fairly easy to do. So you've gotten used to this now. So I'm going to knit to the end of this row and just show you how to handle the transition from a wrong side row to a right side row. So I've got to the end of row 14, so I've got 2 stitches left now, and I'm going to knit the first one, and then the second one I'm going to slip it with the yarn in front like that. So take the yarn between needles to the front and slip it purlwise, and that means, and then on the next row I'm going to knit it. Now I'm not going to change color on this row because I'm on row 15. But it means that if I was to change colour, I could just knit the first one. So I'm slipping the last one instead of slipping the first one. It'll give you a similar edge, but it just means that makes it easier when you've got to change colour. So because I'm going to do 4 rows on one colour and then change colour, I'm just carrying the other colour up. So I'm just going to, they're hanging down like that. So I'm just going to loop the pink yarn underneath it just to carry that up. And then I'm going to knit it, and I'm going to knit 2. There we go. So we're slipping the last one on the wrong side row instead of the first one on the right side row. It gives you the same result, but it makes it easy when we got to change colors, because when you change color you have to knit the first stitch. And then on this row we're going to start with a knit one through the back loop and then knit 2. And the one we're knitting through the back loop is the one that we didn't knit through the back loop on the previous row. So you can see that's a big double yarn over, and you can see the knit stitch above it, it looks a bit open. So if I just knit it like that, you kind of get a big hole there and then a big hole above it. So that's why I'm knitting that one through the back loop. So we're knitting 2 and then knit one through the back loop. It just closes it off a bit and makes the yarn overs a bit more defined. So that's all you're going to do in this row, and then till you get to the marker, knit the edging as normal, and then the 4th row, the final row of this repeat, I'm just going to slip on and then knit at the end.